Something has changed in Heartland, and fans everywhere can feel it. The start of season 19 is not just another beginning, it's a turning point that leaves you with chills. The first episode doesn't wait. It doesn't ease you in, it throws you into a moment that shakes the Fleming family and the entire ranch in a way no one saw coming. If you thought you knew where Heartland was heading, think again, because this episode proves that the story is far from predictable. For more than a decade, Heartland has been the show that gave us warmth, healing, and hope. It has been about families standing together through life's toughest storms, and about the bond between people and horses that carries them through pain and loss. Viewers have grown up with Amy Fleming, watched her learn, fall, rise, and keep the ranch alive while never losing the compassion that defines her. The series has carried us through heartbreaks, triumphs, and moments that remind us why we hold on to love and to each other. And just when it felt like we understood its rhythm, its quiet ways of teaching life lessons, season 19 enters with a new fire. Something so unexpected that it forces us to look at the characters we love in a whole new way. The shock of episode 1 doesn't come out of nowhere. It is built on years of storytelling, on threads left hanging, and on wounds that never truly healed. Think back to the moments when Amy had to find her strength again after loss, or when Jack reminded everyone that family doesn't break, it bends and holds. Think of Lou's choices that always balanced ambition with loyalty, and of the young ones growing into their own, struggling to carry the weight of the Heartland legacy. All of that history now matters more than ever. In this new season, everything feels like it has been leading up to one moment, one scene, where the air itself feels heavy because you know change has arrived. What makes this episode so gripping is not just what happens, but how it feels. The setting of Heartland, the ranch, the horses, the mountains in the distance has always been a safe space, a home for the characters and for us as viewers. But now, that very home feels shaken. Episode 1 doesn't destroy what Heartland has built. Instead, it takes that trust and tests it. It asks the question, how strong is the Fleming family when the unexpected breaks into their lives? How much can they hold before something gives way? The first few minutes set the stage with quiet calm, as if nothing is wrong, as if it's just another day at the ranch. But then, in a way only Heartland can deliver, the storm comes without warning. A decision is made, a truth is revealed, or a character's action lights a fire that cannot be put out. You find yourself holding your breath, realizing that the warmth of the show you love is still there, but now layered with tension so sharp it cuts through the screen. And this is where the legacy of Heartland makes the shock so powerful. We care about these characters because we've been with them for so long. We've watched them grow, fall in love, lose, and start again. So when episode 1 delivers its twist, it's not just about drama, it's about family, about the people we know so well facing something that could break them. That is why it hits so hard, why it feels personal, and why season 19 begins in a way that nobody could have expected. It starts quietly. The ranch is calm, the morning light falls across the fields, and everything feels steady, almost too steady. Heartland has always been a place where peace comes after the storm, where family finds comfort in the land they've worked so hard to protect. But in season 19, episode 1, that calm becomes the very reason the shot cuts so deeply. You are drawn in by the gentle rhythm of ranch life, and then, without warning, something changes. It is not loud at first, but you feel it. The shift is in the way a voice trembles, in the way a door opens, in the way a truth finally steps into the light. What makes this moment so powerful is not just what happens, but how it's delivered. The writers of Heartland understand the art of silence, how sometimes the pause between words says more than the words themselves. In episode 1, there's a scene where silence becomes heavier than thunder. The camera lingers, the characters freeze, and you know this is not a moment you can brush aside. It is the kind of scene that changes the way you look at everyone in that room, and it makes you ask questions you didn't think you'd have to ask about people you've trusted for years. For longtime fans, this shock feels almost like betrayal, because it forces you to realize that not everything at Heartland can stay the same forever. Change has come before losses that broke hearts, challenges that shook the ranch, but this feels different. This feels permanent. There is no going back from the truth that comes out in this episode. Whether it is a choice made in the heat of emotion, or a secret that has been waiting too long to be told, the result is the same. The ground under Heartland no longer feels steady. But what makes this twist beautiful, even as it is painful, is the way it connects to everything the show stands for. Heartland is not about running away from pain, it is about facing it, about finding strength when it feels impossible. And that is exactly what the Fleming family must do now. The shock does not destroy them, but it does test them. It pulls at the seams of their unity, daring them to come apart. And yet, as fans know, this family has a way of surprising us. As the episode unfolds, you begin to see the layers of emotion: anger, confusion, sorrow, but also love, loyalty, and that quiet determination that has carried the family through so many storms before. This is not just drama for the sake of drama. This is Heartland showing us that even in the most peaceful of places, life can deliver moments that shake you to your core. And it asks us, along with the characters, when life changes in one breath, who do you become? Do you bend? Or do you break? That is the question episode 1 leaves hanging in the air. And that is why fans everywhere are calling it one of the most unforgettable season premieres in the show's history. Shock doesn't just stop at the moment it's revealed. It spreads, like a stone thrown into a calm pond, rippling out farther and farther until it touches everyone. That is what episode 1 does to the Fleming family. One truth, one action, one shift, and suddenly every bond is tested. You can feel it in the way Amy looks at the people around her, searching for steady ground in a storm she did not see coming. You can see it in Jack's eyes, those wise, steady eyes that have held this family together for decades. For the first time in a long time, even he seems shaken, and when Jack falters, the whole ranch feels it. But this is where the brilliance of Heartland shines. The writers don't just tell us something big happened, they show us how it bleeds into every corner of the ranch. A simple conversation at the kitchen table suddenly feels like a battlefield. A walk through the barn feels heavier, as though the horses themselves can sense the shift in the air. Heartland has always been about the connection between people and the land, and in this episode, the land itself feels unsettled. It's almost as if Heartland is asking us, if this place can be shaken, is anywhere truly safe? Each character reacts differently, and that is what makes the ripple so human. Lou carries it like a weight on her shoulders, trying to fix everything, even though deep down she knows she can't. Tim, stubborn as ever, doesn't hide his emotions. He lets them spill out, sharp and fiery, because that is how he protects himself from pain. And Amy, at the center of it all, has to decide what kind of leader she will be. Will she step forward with strength, or will the shock finally be too much? The most powerful part of this ripple is not in the anger or the sadness, but in the quiet moments that follow. Heartland has always taught us that family isn't just about big speeches or dramatic gestures, it's about the small looks, the hands that reach out, the unspoken promises that say, "I've got you," even when the world feels broken. Episode 1 uses those moments masterfully. After the storm of emotions, there are pauses, soft silences, where you realize this family is not giving up. They are hurting, yes. They are shaken, yes. But beneath all of it, they are still bound by love. And this is where fans feel the deepest connection. Because haven't we all been there? Haven't we all had moments when life throws something at us so unexpected? We wonder if the people we love will stay or drift away. Heartland takes that universal truth and places it in the story we've been following for years. That's why the shock of episode 1 doesn't feel like just television, it feels personal. It reminds us that even the strongest families bend under pressure, but what makes them unbreakable is the choice to keep holding on. By the end of this ripple, one thing is clear. Heartland Season 19 is not just about what happens next, it's about who these characters become because of it. And that question, more than any twist, is what keeps fans on the edge of their seats. When the credits roll on episode 1, it doesn't feel like just another season premiere. It feels like a question has been planted in your chest. A question that lingers long after the screen fades to black. That's the genius of Heartland. It doesn't only tell you a story, it makes you live inside it. Season 19's opening episode leaves you with the weight of what just happened, but also with the fire of what might come next. It reminds us that the real heart of this series has never been the surprise itself, it's what the surprise does to the people who live through it. Fans across the world are already talking about it. Social media is buzzing with shock, theories, and emotions that spill out like a storm. Some are crying, some are angry, and others are whispering, "I knew something was coming, but not like this." And that is what makes Heartland special. It unites its audience in one shared heartbeat. Whether you've been watching since the very first season or you just started, episode 1 makes you feel part of something bigger, part of a family that extends far beyond the screen, but beyond the chatter and the predictions. This episode holds a deeper meaning. It reminds us that life does not move in straight lines. We may crave comfort, we may hope for peace, but the truth is, change finds us whether we're ready or not. Just like the Fleming family, we are forced to face moments that demand growth, moments that test the limits of our love, and moments that ask, who do you want to be when everything shifts beneath your feet? Heartland's power lies in that mirror. It shows us the resilience we forget we have. So what does this shock mean for the season ahead? It means that the road forward is uncertain, but thrilling. It means characters we thought we knew will reveal sides we've never seen. It means the family we've trusted for years will have to fight harder than ever to stay together. And it means we, as fans, are about to witness one of the most emotional and unforgettable journeys in the show's history. By the end of episode 1, one truth is clear. Heartland is not just telling stories anymore, it's rewriting what we thought was possible. The safe ground has cracked, and now every step forward feels unpredictable. And that is exactly why season 19 has the power to shock, to inspire, and to stay with us long after the screen goes dark, because Heartland has always been more than a show. It's a reminder of life's hardest truths and its greatest comforts. And in this season, it dares to ask us to expect the unexpected and still believe in the strength of family. No matter what storms come, the beauty of a twist is not only the shock in the moment, it's the questions it leaves behind. And Heartland Season 19 Episode 1 does not just close with answers. It opens the door to countless possibilities. What will this change mean for Amy as she steps deeper into her role as both mother and horse whisperer? Can Lou balance her ambitions with the fragile bonds at home? And will Jack's wisdom be enough to guide the family through what could be their most difficult chapter yet? These questions are not meant to scare us away, they are meant to pull us closer. This is the kind of storytelling that keeps fans awake at night, replaying scenes, searching for clues in every line of dialogue, wondering what hidden hints the writers may have planned for the episodes ahead. Already, theories are spreading like wildfire. Some believe this shock will lead to the return of a face we thought we'd never see again. Others are convinced it will spark a division in the family that could last the entire season. No matter which theory you lean toward, one thing is certain: nothing about this season will be simple. But perhaps that's the true gift of Heartland. For nearly 2 decades, it has never relied on flashy tricks or empty surprises. Instead, it has built its strength on characters who feel real, on moments that echo our own lives, and on the timeless truth that family, no matter how broken or tested, always finds a way forward. This season promises to keep that tradition alive, even as it pushes the boundaries further than ever before. And here is where you, the fans, become part of the story. Because Heartland has never been just about the people on the screen, it has always been about the people watching. Your reactions, your theories, your tears, your laughter, they are what keep this show alive. So ask yourself, what does this twist mean? What would you do if you were standing in Amy's boots, or Lou's, or Jack's? Do you see this as the beginning of healing, or the beginning of something harder? That is the conversation this season invites. That is the reason episode 1 will never be forgotten. And that is why we can say, with certainty, that Heartland Season 19 is not just a continuation, it is a rebirth. A rebirth of the story, of the characters, and of the bond we all share with this show. So as we step forward, one thing is clear: expect the unexpected, hold on to your predictions, And never underestimate the power of family. Even when everything changes, there are stories you watch, and then there are stories that stay. Heartland Season 19 Episode 1 belongs to the second kind. Long after the screen fades, the feelings remain, like the echo of hooves across the field, or the faint smell of hay and earth in the barn. It's more than just a season premiere. It's a reminder of why this show has lasted nearly 2 decades. Because Heartland does not give us escape, it gives us reflection. It shows us ourselves in the struggles of the Fleming family, in their heartbreaks, in their hopes, and in their fierce loyalty to one another. Episode 1 leaves behind a silence that speaks louder than words. It asks us to sit with the weight of change, to imagine what comes next, and to accept that the ranch we love will never be quite the same. But maybe that's the beauty of it. Maybe Heartland is telling us that change is not the end, it's the start of something new, something we may fear at first but later come to treasure. Just as Amy has always found light in the darkest corners, this season may lead us to truths we didn't know we needed. The echo of this episode is not only in the shock of what happens, but in the questions it leaves behind. What does family mean when the ground shifts beneath your feet? How do you hold on to tradition when the future pulls you in another direction? And what does resilience look like when it is tested in ways you never imagined? These are not just questions for the characters, they are questions for us, the viewers, because Heartland has always been a mirror of our own lives. And so, as we look ahead, we carry this echo with us, a reminder that life, like Heartland, is unpredictable, that the moments which shock us are often the same moments that shape us, and that even when the barn doors close, even when the screen goes dark, the story of family, of love, of strength, it doesn't end. It lives on in the Fleming family and in all of us who have made Heartland part of our lives.